All right, DT, how's it going?
What's happening, Cam Capizzo?
Hey, just working, man. Staying grinding.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing your thing for a long time now. You've been around.
Yeah, I've been working, man. I've been working. I've been outside. You dig?
Yeah, that's for sure, man. You linked up with 50. You grew up with Young Buck, and you've been doing your thing for a long time, man. But I thought I would kind of start off and kind of just let the people get to know you a little bit better about what it was like for you growing up, and for the people who might not know where you grew up at, and everything.
Right. Well, actually, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. We call it Cashville, Blasville, Smashville. It's a couple of names for it. But yeah, I'm definitely from Nashville native. I'm a Nashville native, definitely.
And what was it like for you growing up in Nashville?
Ah, man, the young DT. I was active, man. I always was active. I'm the type that I make a way when it ain't a way. Or I be in the way sometimes. Back then I was in the way a lot. But as far as, going to school, I was good. I was smart, but I was more into 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So, I wasn't totally focused. So I got put out a couple schools, a couple fights, There's certain things that kids grow up and do, That's all. I just had to, I was not focused then.
Going through everything on the streets, not being focused, what age would you say it was that you jumped off the porch?
Let's see. Well, I grew up out south in the projects, J.C. Napier. And once I hit them streets and jumped off that porch, once I learned, I looked up to my older cousin Priest, which rest in peace to my uncle Priest. My cousin Priest, my big cousin. And I kind of looked up to him as far as getting money, getting that money in these streets. So once I seen, everybody don't got it in them, but I had it in me to be a hustler. You know what I'm saying? I could make it happen and get that bag. So I got into that more than trying to go to school. I was hustling at a young age in school,
Were you rapping at this time?
Yeah, I was definitely rapping in the lunchrooms, in the gym. I was one of the popular ones with the rhymes, you know what I mean? Beating on the table and rapping. That's when I knew I had a gift for it, how fluent it came out when I was rapping, So.
And at what point do you meet Young Buck?
Back to my older cousin Priest, that's actually how I met him. My cousin had a trap on the north side of town. We from the south side, but we had a trap on the north side. And Priest's brother had brought David up to the trap one time and introduced him to my cousin. And he took him in. And when I came over there, he introduced me to him, and we kind of kicked it off a little bit. I was a little older than him. He used to rap a lot, all the time. And I used to tell him, nah, hold up. I can rap too. So we would go at each other with the rapping, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it might end up in a little brawl, here and there, a little wrestling match. But, we had a lot of fun with it. We both seen it. We both had talent, Yeah. It started in the trap, though.
Okay. And you guys are at the trap all the time together? Getting to know each other? Is that kind of where you guys became close friends at?
Yeah. Eventually he started to want to ride with me and be with me, around me. So I would pull up and holler at my cousin, and then when I leave, he would jump in with me. So, I was a little wild, riding with the 4.5 with the box of bullets on the seat. Just wild, man, And he would jump in, and we would just hit clubs all night, and, we would turn up, you know what I mean? We would turn up.
Do you graduate from high school?
Nah, I didn't graduate. Nah, I got put out of a couple schools, man. Hunters Lane, Whites Creek, McGavick, what else? Shit, I was at a couple schools, man. Yeah, I didn't get to graduate, though.
Did you ever have a real job?
I worked at Crystal's one time in high school, but we couldn't keep our hands out the register. So I couldn't keep that job. You know what I'm saying? I was eating up all the burgers. You feel me? I supposed to be cooking the burgers. I'm cooking the burgers and eating them. So, you know, the boss was like, yo, you can't eat the food. You got to get the order out first. And I said, there's a couple of more burgers left. I cooked them, you know. But, yeah, I couldn't keep that Crystal's job.
They fired you for eating all the food?
I ate the food, and they was minus a couple weekends, you know.
It was minus a couple. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, are you taking music serious at the time?
Actually, I'm not. I'm having fun. You know, I hadn't found my structure with it. I just knew that I could do it and I was good at it. Yeah.
And is Buck taking it serious at the time?
Yeah, I would say that he was probably taking it a little more serious because he would never stop rapping, you know. I don't care if we in the car, he want to cut the radio down for a minute and rap over the beat. You know, we used to have confrontations a lot because I might be wanting to listen to Spice One, you know, or Corrupt, that album with Snoop them, and he'll cut it down just enough to where he can rap over the beat. You know what I'm saying? And I want to hear the actual record, you know. So then we arguing over the knob, and then he trying to touch the knob, I'm trying to move his arm, and then there we go. You feel what I'm saying? In the car. So yeah, it was a lot of back and forth with me and David from the jump.
Okay, and what do you think was like the craziest time that you guys had together during that time growing up?
It was actually the shootout. We was actually at a trap on a part of town that I actually grew up in, Haynes Garden. Shout out to Haynes Garden. And at this time, a lot of the robbers was coming out of Haynes Garden. And my cousin had a trap right beside Haynes Garden, and I kind of knew they were gonna come in there eventually. But you know, knowing my cousin Priest, how he was, we had guns everywhere. So he was like, what you think these guns for, Tay? You know, so they eventually came one night, actually on my birthday. My cousin was out of town, and he left Buck in charge with a couple more guys, Bread, Quinn. And you know, at this time, they were doing drugs. We were adventuring into drugs at the time, all of us was. And the popular drug was volumes at the time. And they happened to be on a downer, you know. And I was out in the city, it was my birthday, I was turned up. I just said, let me stop over here and check on them. When I got there, they opened the door. They got it dark in there, they sleep. The pit bull is asleep. You feel what I'm saying? So they sleep, but they got the guns beside them, but they sleep. When I came in, they laid back down, and just so happened I stayed up. And I remember the power going out. And I thought it was raining or storming or something, you know. And at this time I was wild, okay? Tony Montana, you know Tony, okay? Them type of people, you know what I mean, like that. So anyway, I'm in there and I couldn't lay down. So when the power went out, and I always kept this big 4.5 on me anyway, with a box of bullets, period. So I put my gun on my chest. I tried to lay down for a second because I thought the power had went out. And when I tried to lay down, all of a sudden the power came back on. Now when the power came back on, I sat back up, grabbed a joystick, and had the 4.5 in my lap. Now they still on the ground asleep. So when I picked the stick up, all of a sudden I heard the screen door get checked. We had a screen door on the trap, and it's like they checked it. And when I heard them check the screen door, I just naturally rolled in the kitchen because I felt like it was a robbery. And there was in Nashville, there was a lot of people getting robbed, killed, duct taped at the time at traps. So I just had a feeling it was the robbers, and it was. I rolled in the kitchen, and they checked that screen door, then they snatched it off. Buck was laying in the floor by the front door. When I rolled in the kitchen, I looked around the refrigerator, and that's when I seen the door get kicked in with two gunmen that were masked up, you know what I'm saying? And one of them had one of them straps with the strap around his shit. He had a big motherfucker in there. So when I seen, I said, okay, we got action. So I found when they kicked the door in, Buck heard it. And when he heard them kick when that door hit that wall, it woke everybody up. But Buck was laying facing me. The guy kicked the door in, and as soon as he kicked the door in, he was standing over top of Buck. So he told him, don't move. Well, as soon as he told Buck, don't move, I had found the safety on my 4.5 and come around the refrigerator. So I started shooting first. Now I thought once I started shooting, he would run off because I caught him off guard. You feel what I'm saying? But they were serious about the robbery. You know, once I shot, he fell out the door and he kept shooting. Then he stuck the gun back around the door and was just shooting at my area. So I'm in the kitchen shooting. When he started shooting, I ain't gonna lie, I got little. I got behind the refrigerator because he was shooting some big shit. So I got down. I ain't one of them that gonna be trying to act like, nah, I was No, I had to get down while he was shooting. When he shoot, soon as he stopped, I come back around the refrigerator. So now we shooting it out. Buck look up, see me, try to run to me. The guy shoots him in the leg and in the arm. Now when he falls in front of me, I come over top of his body and keep shooting. Boom, boom, boom. So now finally, this guy stopped shooting. Yeah, I guess they took off running or whatever because the police found his mask in the backyard. I got everything out the house, picked Buck up. He crying on the floor, talking about he finna die. I'm telling him, be quiet, let me get everything so I can get you to the hospital. I take him to the hospital, drop him off, and go home and go to sleep.
Do you know what kind of bullet Young Buck got shot with?
I'm not actually sure, but I think it was like a Tech 9 he was shooting at the time because he had the long clip at the bottom.
So like a 9?
Probably a Tech 9 or it was a Mac 10. It was something like that.
Something like that. Okay. So you drop him off at the hospital and Buck is worried. He thinks he's going to die. And you know, what's the next thing you hear? Like, who do you hear from next?
I hear from the police next. The police was at my door. The detectives was at my door the next morning. I don't know how they even knew where I lived, but they were at my door asking what happened. And I told them I didn't know what they was talking about. I stuck to my story, you know. And finally, one of the black detectives told me, don't worry about it. You can be honest. We just need the gun. We know that they was intruding the house. You were just protecting yourself. So you were not in any trouble. But, you know, I still wasn't quick to just say that. But he told me I was good. So that's what happened.
Okay, so you never caught a case over it or nothing?
Nah. It was self-defense.
Okay, gotcha. And now, how long is Buck in the hospital?
I mean, it went in and out, you know. He probably was in there a couple days. It wasn't long.
Now, you guys have this big, wild shootout, you know. What are you guys thinking now, man? Are you guys like, we got to find something else to do with ourselves? Or you guys like, fuck it, man, straight back to the trap?
Oh, it was definitely straight back to the trap. More guns now, though. And we definitely had to find out who that was. You know, he eventually got killed or whatever. So we didn't have to worry about that. And it was back at the trap, you know. That was something normal in Nashville anyway at the time. So we right back in the trap rapping. And at this time, Buck was dealing with TIP, Tim and Booker. Shout out to Totally Independent Productions. And they had started a tour for Buck. Well, no, actually he was with Cash Money. He was with Cash Money at the time. Yep.
Okay, so at one point, Young Buck links up with Cash Money. Are you around during that time?
Yeah, I'm around. He brought me around when he first went to New Orleans, and he was with Baby now. And I was with Wicked Entertainment at the time, which is an independent music group out of Nashville. And he was back and forth out there with Baby. It was with Baby. So I don't necessarily know how he ended up. C-Lo introduced him, I think, to Baby. Rest in peace to C-Lo. That was Baby's driver, C-Lo.
What was your experience like over there hanging out with them? And I mean, I'm sure Lil Wayne was probably just a little kid at the time.
Yeah, I mean, all of us were kids, you know, but Wayne was definitely younger than everybody, you know. Shout out to Turk and Wayne, man. They're my brothers, man. Wayne, especially my big brother Juvie, man. All of them. So, yeah, Buck introduced me to them, and we was kind of running together because we started a tour, the TIP tour, and it was with Cash Money at the time. But Buck had ended up rapping for TIP at the time. The guys who owned TIP went on and took Buck in. But the cars that was in that Bling Bling video, the Hummers, the situation where Buck is saying that them was T's cars, our cars, and Baby them video, that was actually a true statement.
Oh, okay. And now I guess it doesn't work out, and somehow Young Buck ends up on the West Coast with Suge Knight and Juvenile.
Yeah, I didn't have much knowledge of that it happened. I just know that David had said that Juvie had left him out there.
Okay, and so you weren't around during that time?
Not with the Suge and Juvie thing.
Okay. Now, at this point, are you taking rapping more serious?
Yeah, I'm actually learning more about it and getting my structure together and finding my style. So, yeah, I was becoming a problem.
Okay. And, do you put out any mixtapes or do anything like that?
Yeah, I was on a lot of the mixtapes running around Nashville. Shout out to Pistol Gordon. That's one of the rappers in Nashville that had the big deal at the time. One of the first rappers with a big deal with Eazy-E now. I was on one of his records, and it ended up the whole city was singing my verse before I knew it. So that was my first step into notoriety, getting the celebrityism going in Cashville and getting on,
That's what's up. Now, were you working on any record deals yourself on the side? I remember you said you had an independent thing going already.
No, I was with TIP them, but that was an independent label. Me, Buck, Firstborn, that was the crew.
Okay.
It was an independent label though.
So that's not together anymore. Now you guys are all just trying to hustle to try to find something, right? At this point?
Yeah, but actually Buck had ended up I don't know how that happened. I think because I know he was messing with Paul for a minute, DJ Paul. Shout out to Uncle Paul and Juicy J. And I would just really be with him when he would jump from crew to crew trying to find his spot, And then I know he'd end up going with UTP for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. So now, at one point, he links up with 50 Cent. And are you around when that happens?
Actually, Juvenile had introduced him to 50. Okay, with the Bloodhounds. It was a UTP. Juvie had UTP at the time, and they had that Know Your Clap going. So they were, they had a lot of motion going. In some kind of way, he introduced Buck to 50, and they did that Bloodhounds record. He jumped on there, and I think this is from my knowledge from what Buck told me, is that Fifth said he was gonna come back and get him, and he liked it, his style or whatever. And I think Juve said it was cool, if he wanted to do that. And I think 50 ended up coming back to get him because Buck had ended up coming back from New York or wherever they was at when he met 50 and did that record. And he let me hear it, and he was like, bro, I'm about to be, and 50's song had came on TV, that in the club. And he was like, bro, I'm finna be with him, bro. I'm finna be with him, M and 50. And I'm like, who is 50? You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, that's M artist, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm not familiar with them. I was just kind of around.
Okay, and is there any bad blood between Young Buck and Juvenile at this time, even though Buck is saying he left him in California?
Nah, Juvie don't have any bad blood against Buck. He just didn't agree with what Buck said. So that's between Buck and Juvenile. I don't actually know, how that ended up where it's at. But there's no bad blood as far as I know.
So a young buck gets signed to 50 Cent at one point. And what's that like for you guys? Because you guys been grinding, you've been doing your thing. You know, young buck, your homeboy that you know since you was a kid, I mean, he gets signed to, at that point, the biggest artist in the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who's selling millions and millions of records, man. That must have been crazy.
Right. Right. Yo, those days were they were big. They were fun. They were adventurous. They were dangerous. That G Unit, when we got introduced to G Unit, that was something that we had never experienced with rap. You know, 50's grind was definitely aggressive. You know, the beef that he had, I would say that we took it on too, because we end up being with him, and how he moved, we move. And when a lot of times we run into those crews that we had beef with, it was gonna be a problem. You know, there was no we ever run into a group that we was beefing with and we just see them. You know, anytime we had beef with anybody, if we see them, we trying to get at them. You know, we kept the hyenas around was definitely on go. You know what I'm saying?
Did you run into anybody?
Yeah, we had a couple of situations. I do remember when the game situation was going on, we was on the anger management tour, and I think it was in Phoenix, Arizona or something. Some guys came to the club to the show with GU Not shirts on, and we were performing, and some of the crew had acknowledged that in the crowd, and you know, they had to take them shirts off. And they left out of that stadium without those shirts on.
Okay. The game wasn't there, was he? Or was he there?
No, Game wasn't there though.
Game wasn't there. Okay.
Shout out to Game.
Okay, and at one point you meet 50 Cent.
My first time meeting 50 was kind of strange, because Buck was, like I said, he would just have me with him while he was doing his rap grind with different crews. And when 50 had signed him, he invited me to go to 50's house with him for the first time. And I think Fifth had just bought that mansion from Mike Tyson. And it's kind of crazy because they picked us up from the airport, okay? And Buck used to always like to have different kinds of smoke, you know what I'm saying? So when they picked us up from the airport, it's like an hour and a half or two to Connecticut, to the house, to the mansion. So we were smoking, you know, and about an hour into the trip, we had smoked so much, I was feeling kind of weird, kind of sick. So I asked Buck to pull over to get something to eat, and he said he wasn't hungry, so he wasn't pulling over. And then he asked everybody else in the van, which was from Nashville, are they hungry? And of course they said no, because he said he wasn't hungry. So now it's like nobody wants to pull over. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just get something to eat at this guy's house that we're going to, you know. And Buck's like, what? So he like, no, cut that radio back down. Tay, you can't go in this. How you gonna get something to eat at a man's house you never met? So I'm telling him, well, pull over so we can get something to eat, you know. And he like, man, I gotta be here, so you just gonna have to. I said, all right, cool. Well, when we get to the house, 50 introduces himself to us. When we walk in, I really couldn't recognize the mansion because I felt sick. So I'm looking for some candy or something he may have around to get where I feel a little better. Now, everybody else is at odds with the mansion and stuff. So he's like, let me show you guys around. So he ended up showing us around. Then we go upstairs, downstairs, kitchen, strip club, bowling alley. He had everything in that mansion. And we end up walking back. I seen a refrigerator when we was walking through on the east wing. And I was gonna go in his refrigerator then, but I got to thinking about what Buck said. And he was like, Tay, you're gonna fuck my career up if you do some shit like this. You don't know this man, chill out. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't go in the man's refrigerator. I kept walking with the rest of the crew. We were looking around the mansion. So then we make it back to the middle of the mansion. And this guy says, okay, now let me take y'all on the west wing. I said, West Wing? He like, yeah, that was the East Wing. Now let me walk y'all on the West Wing. So I'm still high and feeling sick. So as we going on the West Wing, I'm thinking in my head, if I see another refrigerator, then I know God is good. You feel what I'm saying? Because I was hungry at the time. So anyway, we walk and I see a living room. I said, well, I seen a living room last time and then there was a kitchen next. So when I seen that living room, I said, it's gotta be a kitchen. Soon as we came out the living room, it was a kitchen with a big, great refrigerator. So I'm looking in the kitchen at the refrigerator. I see some Doritos and I seen some vitamin water. He had just got the vitamin water deal. You understand? So he had a case of that on the floor. This is what I remember. So I let them walk in front of me, you know, because he's still showing them around. I figured the mansion's so big, I know it took us a while on the East Wing, so I got a little time for the West Wing. So I let them walk in front of me, ran in his kitchen, opened the refrigerator. He had some Miracle Whip, some turkey, some cheese, and some bread. So I'm listening for them and grabbing the turkey and the cheese out of the refrigerator. So I end up going in the drawers, get the spoon, make me a turkey and cheese sandwich real quick. Open the Doritos, open me a vitamin water. Now I'm eating my sandwich. I'm eating a Dorito. I'm trying to eat it fast though, okay? Well, little did I know they was doing construction. 50 was doing construction on the mansion. So they came back a little earlier than I intended. So I done took me a couple bites of the sandwich. Now I'm coming to life, Paul, okay? So now I'm starting to look around and say, where the f am I at? Damn, this a bad motherfucker right here, bro. Like, this nigga got a nice crib. So now I'm finally getting to enjoy the mansion, but I forgot that they was coming back. So I got a jaw full of turkey and cheese. I'm leaning on this man counter. I got one hand going in the Dorito bag. My vitamin water is already open. I'm chewing the sandwich. As soon as I look up, 50's walking by the kitchen. He looks up and double takes and says, this nigga's crazy. So he said, yo, Tay, make yourself at home, man. You good. So Buck is behind him like, yo, I told you don't, man, I'm going to kill you, bro. I'm on the counter eating the turkey cheese that was like, he ain't tripping, nigga. You tripping. Fuck you. So he like, okay, so they walk off. I keep eating. You know what I'm saying? So from that day on, 50 took to me like, that nigga right there crazy. He never met me come to my house and make a sandwich in my kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't mean no disrespect. You know, it was, you know, real recognized real. So I think he seen that and he was okay with it. But Buck didn't like that.
Buck didn't like it, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be all right, though. Yeah. I still owe 50 a turkey cheese.
So you and 50 formed this friendship, man, that off of that moment.
Right. Yeah, I would say that we formed a friendship because at the time, I didn't look at Buck as how everybody else did with the rapper thing, because we grew up together. So it was more like my little brother. So I was never a follower or a do-boy, should I say. Like, if it didn't make sense to me, I'll say no. Well, I don't like that. Everybody else do whatever he do. So 50 recognized that, you know, that I was 10 toes. I was real, you know what I'm saying? So I think he kind of took to that. I remember times shooting dice with 2 Chainz now, you know, and I had lost my money. You know, I'm getting frustrated, you know. And, some of Buck's guys was antagonizing me about losing my money. And I started wanting to fight, you know, or whatever. And 50 is standing right there over us watching us shoot dice. And he didn't recognize I lost my money. So he walked past me. We on the tour bus. He walked past me and kicked my leg. Told me to come to the back. When I came to the back, he gave me about 500 in hundreds to get back in the dice game. So I would take that. I would think that he took to me. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to see me win. You know, he actually was the one who put me on Buck's album, the Straight Outta Cashville. That was actually him saying that on These Niggas Want Me Dead, put prices on my head. Better watch your step, cause I cock my shit. That was actually 50 saying that. We were in the studio that night. And I used to just like to hang around last. You know, when Buck's crew, after Buck get through recording, all the Nashville guys would leave and go back to the hotel when he leave. Well, I would hang around while 50 was recording, you know. And I just wanted to see the magic being made, you understand? So Fifth never had a problem with that. So I would hang around. And he was in the studio doing that for Buck's album. And just out the blue, he was like, what Tay at? You know, and Shy Money was like, yo, Tay, 50's calling you. So, I'm like, all right. So here I go in the studio. He said, just say what I just said, you know. Now, me not being prepped beforehand that I was going to be rapping in front of this guy, I kind of didn't, it kind of, you know, I wasn't all the way ready, I would say. And I said it a couple times. I think 50 could see that I was kind of uncomfortable a little bit. So what he said, man, I'm out of here. So I'm looking like, out of here? What that mean? You don't want me to do it or what? He said, yo, just keep trying and I'm out of here. So he ended up leaving out and the engineer said, just keep running it. So when he left out, I just did it, you know? And the next morning when we checked out our hotels, 50 was downstairs with his headphones on. And when we came off the elevator, when we walked by, he said, Tay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Come here, come here. So I come over there, he put the headphones on my head. He said, you hear that? So I'm hearing my voice and I'm hearing it. And I'm like, yeah, that shit sound crazy. He like, that's what I'm talking about. You good. So that, I mean, that's how I end up being on one of the records on Buck's album. I'm on actually two of them. And it went platinum.
And it goes platinum.
Yeah, actually, we got the plaque right here, actually. And it's actually issued to me. So, you know, I put my work in for that album. You dig? Yeah, and I appreciate 50 for that opportunity. And I appreciate David as well.
Yeah, man, that's big. That when that album dropped, man, it was cracking. It was everywhere, man. Everybody was with it for sure.
Oh yeah, we was the toughest thing around. You know, G-Unit definitely had its era. Definitely.
Yeah, that's facts. Well, you guys go on tour for the album when it drops?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, it was the Anger Management tour, the Rock the Mic tour. The Anger Management tour was more with M now. I think it was us, M, Buster, 3-6 Mafia, Sierra, Mobb Deep, M.O.P. Yeah, if I'm forgetting people, there was a lot of people. Usher, I think, at one time.
What was that like?
Oh, we had a ball. Yeah, a lot of partying. A lot of partying, a lot of fights. Let's see. Yeah, it was definitely firecrackers.
What do you think was like the most memorable fight you guys had?
I would say, I know we ended up, we got in a couple of brawls, but I know one, we got into the summer jam and the hip hop police had pulled us over after that. And we went to jail after that. And I ended up getting to fighting in jail with some guys.
People are hating on you guys when you guys are in jail, right?
Right. Well, like I told you, we had a lot of beef with different artists. So when we got to jail, it was a lot of people saying, G-Unit, you know, you niggas the police and different type of things. But they was doing that from the time we actually walked through the door. We ended up spending the night. The guards ended up bringing us some McDonald's because, of course, we were the hottest artists at the time. So, and they were female guards. So they ended up bringing us some.
Who all was locked up with you?
Huh?
Who all was locked up with you?
Me, Buck, Spider Low, Chris Lighty. Was it Chris Lighty or Mike Lighty? Banks, his crew, and my brother Tick, who's passed now. Yeah.
Damn, all you guys were locked up in the same jail, same cell?
Yeah. Like I said, when they pulled us over after Summer Jam, we had told the security don't bring a gun because we knew hip hop police was on us. And we had a lot of beef, like I said, so this new security guard that we had hired was I think he was kind of scared a little bit. So he snuck his weapon anyway. And they pulled us over on Madison Square Garden downtown on the main street. So When they pull us over, Buck is being very disrespectful to the officers, okay, for one. And I think that's what made them want to search the van. But Buck was being smart because he knew that we were supposed to be clean. And they pulled us all out of the van or whatever, searched the van, then they told us we could leave. Well, when they told us we could leave, Buck started talking more shit. Soon as we started getting in the van, the officer said, nah, book them. Let's take them in. So we from Tennessee, we not used to no shit like this. So we like, well, wait a minute. You just searched the van. What are y'all doing? So they start putting cuffs on everybody immediately. So Buck's like, well, I'm finna get my lawyer on the phone. So he's trying to call. The officer takes his phone, takes the cigarette out of his mouth. So Buck is like, what y'all doing? Y'all ain't got nothing. So the officer walks back to the van and pulls a gun out. Now, when he pulls the gun out, he's saying, what is this and whose is it? So Buck is turning around like, who gun is that, bro? Like, we're not supposed to even have guns right now. So this one security guard, he got his head down the whole time. So now everybody's looking like, is that your gun? And he's not saying nothing. So the officer's like, hey, if nobody wants to claim it, it's okay. We'll take everybody. So now everybody's upset at this guy. He still wouldn't claim it, so they took us all to jail. When we finally got there, he tried to claim it. But it was too late.
You guys are in jail about a night, and now they're getting ready to let you guys out?
Right, we had spent the night, and like I said, we were being threatened and things, and our crew was going back and forth with guys like, well, what's your full name? We'll make your bond to you up. You feel what I'm saying? We go, Spider Loke saying some things. Everybody is. The Cashville crew is going back with certain people. I'm really not getting into that because we had enough New York guys with us that they could, react to whatever they were saying. So the next morning we end up getting ready to go to court. And when we went in this room, I'll never forget it. This one guy is very pissed off. And he's like, you niggas some bitches. Y'all niggas some bitch ass niggas. If they open this cell, if she open this cell and one of you niggas out there, I'm gonna one of you niggas up. That was his exact words. And we don't even know this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's just going off. So in Tennessee, if that situation was to happen, our guards would not let him out, no matter what. If he's already threatened these people, they would not let him be with that crew. Well, I didn't know in New York, it's another charge if you put your hands on somebody in there. At the time, there was another charge. I didn't know that. Well, anyway, they're calling us to go to court, and they end up calling my name last, and he was after me. Well, when they called my name, I went to the end of the line, and then they called this guy's name. When they called his name, he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna one of you niggas up. So he's pacing in the cell, and we think we watching him. And this lady still goes and opens his gate. She lets him out, and he walks to the front of the line and starts threatening people. Yeah, nigga, you niggas up. You know what I'm saying? Just like on some rah-rah shit. Like, so everybody looking like, yeah, what's up then? So we had spent the night, so I guess niggas was slick, chilling, like trying to see what he was gonna do. So he made his way on down the line, sizing niggas up, when I was at the end of the line. And I was kind of standing out of the line to see what he was doing. So when he got to me, he wanted me to get back in line and move. So I stayed there. And he was like, get out the way, nigga, what's up? And I said, what's up? And then as soon as he said, what's up again, I just hit him in the mouth. And when I hit him in the mouth, we was just rumbling, you know what I'm saying? And then the Cashville niggas came through and we kind of stumped him out right there. You know what I'm saying? And the guard seen that he antagonized it, so we didn't get any extra charges. But I got, when 50 and them bonded us out of jail, my shirt was tore. And I guess the word got back that DT had, addressed the problem.
So at one point, you guys are in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And you guys got the G Unit spinner.
Right.
And some things go down in Chicago. Can you talk about that?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. See, in life, there's lessons, in these streets. And when you're really outside, you're going to encounter some real shit, And I was always hard-headed, so I learned the hard way. This is one of the knots on my head growing up. But, I look at it like karma, because at the time I was into some robbing and doing some things. And we ended up going to Chicago. At the time, I was wearing the G-Unit spinner. We had did the BET Awards. And 50 had told Who Kid, you know, to give me his jewelry and gave me the G-Unit spinner to wear. Buck had just got the spinning YB piece. So we both had spinning pieces at the time, but I'm wearing the spinner. We were just supposed to be doing a radio promo in that city. They actually had said we wasn't supposed to go out just to do the radio and go back to the hotel. Well, I had never been to Chicago, so I wanted to get out. And one of our guys that was with us, rest in peace to Manny, his people was from Chicago. So his cousin had came up to the hotel and was like, "What y'all doing tonight? Y'all ain't getting out?" So Manny always kept his blick on him. So I asked him, did he have his blick? And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm strapped." So I was like, "All right, we're going to get out then." And I said, "But we got to try to get that." The G-Unit chain was on Buck's table in his room at the time. You know, I'm always doing shit, Capone. So the G-Unit chain is on his table. I ended up, I guess he had a company upstairs at that hotel or something. She called his name. He went upstairs. I grabbed the chain. We went out the door. We ended up going out, riding around looking for somewhere to go. I'm not knowing where we at, you know. So we ended up, from what I'm hearing, ended up pulling somewhere around Capone Greens and ended up pulling up in front of the club. There was so many people outside that I wouldn't have thought that it would have happened like it did. When we pulled up, I was out the window and the club, one of the security guards at the club was in the door and he knew we was in the city. So he was like, "Oh, okay, G-Unit, like y'all good. Come on, y'all good." You know what I'm saying? I'll let y'all on in. So I told my guy to pull over a little bit right there, slick in front of the club on the side. So we could just get out and chill for a minute before we went in. And when we got out of the truck, we was out there doing our thing or whatever with the bitches and shit. And I never forget, it was a particular set of guys that was walking down the other side of the street, maybe like 3 of them. They was coming down the opposite side of the street and all of a sudden they just crossed over. And then they walked right through us. So as they walking through us, we looking like, these niggas on. You know what I'm saying? So we watch them. They walk on through us, headed towards the club, though. Okay? So we didn't think too much about it. We watched them, and they went on and walked. Then they walked on around the corner. They didn't go in the club. They walked on around the corner. But when they walked around the corner, so many people outside, we weren't thinking nothing of it. So we turned back around and start chopping it up with people or whatever. So all I remember is a gunshot. And when I heard the shot, I seen the flame by my foot, which ended up being one of the guys that went around the corner, cocked the gun, came back around, ran up behind me, grabbed the chain from the back, shot at the ground. Now, he's got his hand on my piece back here and shooting at the ground saying, "Give me that." Now, when he's saying that, I heard that and I seen a flame. So I immediately grabbed my chain like, nah, like, what's going on? So he's saying, "Give me that." He done shot one time. When he shot, my nigga Manny shot. Okay, so it was like a boom. Then Manny shot, boom. Then he shot again, boom. But when he shot again, I seen the barrel. And when I seen the barrel, that was about that long, Paul. So I know what I do. Man, you can have this shit. You feel what I'm saying? I flicked the necklace on off. He grabbed the necklace and my guy Manny shot again and he ran up the street. But Manny's gun had jammed. So he ended up running up the street with the chain. You know what I'm saying? I ended up flicking the chain. Now, if he would have just showed me that big mother first, we wouldn't have had to go through all that. You feel what I'm saying? Because I would have just gave it to him. You did. Yeah, man, when you're up, you're down, you're down. Yeah, so they had the up on that one. Well, I had no business out there, man. Medley, we weren't even supposed to be out there. It's like 3 a.m. But I'm from the street, so you know, we go to the club, to the hood spots in Nashville. So I just wanted to see Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Capone Greens, and shout out to Godfather.
So this happens, and now you got to go back to the hotel and tell Young Buck about this.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, we get back to the hotel, and I tell Buck that I just got, somebody just took the chain. And Buck's like, took what chain, Tay? I'm like, he said, your TIP chains? 'Cause I still had a TIP chain at the time, okay? And I still got that on. So I'm like, nah, not that one. He like, what chain? I'm like, the G-Unit spinner. He like, the G-Unit spinner? Tay, no, Tay. You wasn't even supposed to have the chain. How you get the chain, Tay? And I'm like, man, listen, it's already happened. You think I want to hear this shit from you right now? He like, man, you finna tell 50. You finna tell him, man. I ain't telling him. So I'm like, call him. You know what I'm saying? So I just remember him calling Fifth. And I'm watching Buck's face. And he's like, yo, Fifth, man, the chain just got took, man. And I guess Fifth like, what chain? He like, the G-Unit chain. And then I just see Buck's face like, I'm finna let you talk to Tay real quick. So he give me the phone, and Fifth's like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah. He said, well, that's really all that matters, that you all right, But y'all wasn't supposed to be out either, Tay. What made you do that? And I just wanted to kick it. He said, all right, it's okay. Long as you okay, it's cool. Give Buck back the phone. So I give Buck back the phone, and all I knew was they sent Tay ass home immediately. Yeah, they sent Tay home.
They sent you home after that.
Yeah, they sent me home after that. They sent me home for about 4 months, and then they let me come back out there. That was a weird situation too, because this album is being pushed, the Straight Outta Cashville, so it's gaining momentum, and these crowds are singing my verses. So at the time, Six was our promo manager out there on the tour. And he's telling 50, the shows ain't the same without Tay, okay? Because of my energy and what I bring to the show. So I don't know if 50 said I could come back or what. I think Six just went out on a limb with it. And come find out, I think he did, because they booked my ticket and said, Tay, your flight leaves such and such. And I'm like, ain't nobody told me nothing. Did y'all talk to 50 yet and say it's cool? Nobody never responded. So I've been home for 4 months. So I'm gonna go anyway, because I'm into my music thing now. So I want my shot again. And when we get there, I never forget, I flew to California. They were shooting the Candy Shop video. And it was at this mansion up in the hills. And as we going up the hill to come to the mansion, something just said, ask these niggas have they talked to Five, okay? So I'm asking people on the van like, hey, did y'all talk to Fifth yet? And ain't nobody still saying nothing. So when we pull up to the mansion, MTV runs up with the cameras. So the driver is like, everybody got to get out because I got to go pick up somebody else. So when we pull up, 50's standing outside with that mink on that he had on in the video. He has that black, white, and gray mink on. And he's talking to a security guard. I haven't seen him since he said send Tay ass home, okay? So everybody gets up, gets out the van. I kind of stall a little bit. I'm looking out the window trying to read his energy to see if he knows I'm coming, So I asked the driver said, hey man, I gotta go. You gotta get out of the vehicle. So I jump on out the truck, out the van. I start walking up to the mansion. At this time, 50's talking to the security guard like this. So when he's talking to the security guard, he just happened to look up. And when he looked up, he seen me and double took and then kept talking to the security guard. So I walked straight up to him and I'm like, what's up, big bro? So when I walk up to him, he said, what's up, Tay? He give me that, he pulled me in. He said, I need to holler at you. So I'm like, all right. So after he gave me that, I stood right there. I'm thinking he meant right then. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm standing there. He turns around and keep talking to the security guard. So then he look up, see me still standing there. He like, what's up, Tay? I'm like, you said you want to holler at me? He said, not now, Tay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, hold on, let's get this shit over with. You feel what I'm saying? Well, we gonna wrestle or what, big mother? You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, he said, yeah, we'll talk later. So the whole time on the video shoot, I ain't thinking about that motherfucker video shoot. You got the models running around damn near butt naked. You feel what I'm saying? I'm trying to, let's get this conversation over with. So we end up going to the trailer, and we on the trailer now. I done got kind of comfortable. We smoking, we chilling, music playing. All of a sudden, 50 walks up on the trailer. When he walk up on the trailer, everything get quiet. So Buck's got 5, 6 different weeds on the counter. So Fifth walks up and says, "What's this? We only here for 2 days. What are you doing? You got 6 different kinds of weed, Buck? What are you doing?" So Buck's like, "We're gonna smoke all this, Fifth." So Fifth like, all right, just vibing with us or whatever. So then he said, "Tay, come on, let me real quick." So he walked me in the back of the trailer, and he said, "Buck, come here." So he walked me and Buck in the back of the trailer. When we get in the back of the trailer, he put us both in the headlock. And he said, "Y'all niggas is like my little brothers, okay? I told I told y'all moms that I got y'all when y'all come out here. So I got to make sure y'all get back home safe. So Tay, you need to sit down somewhere. You feel what I'm saying? You need to act more like an artist. Don't be out there trying to run the streets with the hyenas, going back to the club after we come from the show. I used to run with the hyenas a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "No, you are an artist, Tay. You have to start acting like an artist." So, basically, I needed to take the rap more serious. And I appreciated 50 for even believing in me like that. That's the first time I even had heard of a G Unit South. After the BET Awards, after we performed, he got off stage. He put me and Lil Scrappy in the headlock and Buck and said, "G Unit South, get ready. Lil Scrappy, D-Tay," and that was the first time I had heard G Unit South.
You guys do end up getting the chain back.
They end up getting the chain back. I don't know. Godfather was a big help to that. That's how we even located the chain the next day, was through Godfather. I can't get into details about specifically who made the call and certain things, but I do remember Godfather, me talking to Godfather. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. My spiel back then, when I approached everybody I knew, J.O., eventually Suge, Game, and everybody, I said, "Cuz that spinner got took." I said, "My brother was there. I feel like it got took from me." My brother wasn't there, but this is how I explained to these niggas who wonder why I'm so give a I was telling them, the G-Unit spinner got took. My brother was there. I feel like it got took from me, and I'm trying to see what could happen about getting it back. So that's how the politicking started on my behalf. And Buck called the Chicago nigga, Godfather. Salute to that nigga. And Godfather, he happened to say, when I got on the phone with him, I'm like, "Yeah, the chain got took. My brother was there. I feel like it got took from me. I'm from L.A." When I told him I was from L.A., in order to make me aware of his stature and his status, he was like, "Well, if you from L.A., you need to know. When I come to L.A., I touch down with niggas like Suge Knight." My response was, if you talk to niggas like Suge Knight, ask them about Baby Spider from 97th Street, East Side, East Coast, whack. That was my spiel back to him. Now, that was a chess move. Suge had the opportunity at that point because, mind you, remember, I walked away. Now I'm over here with these niggas he don't like. Suge had the opportunity to downplay what I represented right then and kill it all. But, however, this is why I salute Suge in hindsight when I start analyzing the whole play. The Godfather nigga called Young Buck back and told him that chain is gonna come back and you could thank that Spider Low nigga. So when I analyze it all, that means when I put the 10 on the 10 that I actually deserve, Suge validated it versus hated like a lot of these other niggas do.
I do remember the first initial fight that I seen us get, the altercation that we got into that let me know what situation we was getting into with being around 50 now. It was actually Connecticut again. It was a show in Connecticut. And this particular time, 50 had a show. This is at the time when we were wearing the bulletproof vests, and it was like 50 of us on stage. Smurf might have even still been with us at the time. Some guys threw a bottle on the stage while we were performing, And it ended up hitting Money Ron in the head and split him. And 50 cut the music off and said, show your face. You know, he asked, you know, who threw the bottle? And a group of guys in the crowd started doing a lot of rah-rah over there. So 50 jumped in the crowd and started throwing, you know, as soon as he jumped in the crowd, started throwing punches, everybody else did, you know? And we came in the club from the back, but we left out the club through the front door. We had to fight our way through the crowd, going out the door. And that's when I knew it was serious. You know, we had a couple of times where people may throw something and we cut the music off. And the hyenas they were like piranhas, bro. Like once it was a situation, the piranhas is waiting for that. So like when we do shows and somebody throws something, the piranhas come from off the stage, come out around into the crowd in that area, and they get to it. They get to it. They knocking niggas out. They fighting. Or they, you know, either we taking it as it come.
And I did see that you did perform with Buck at the BET Awards one time.
Yeah, that was actually Buck's first performance on national TV.
Okay, how was that?
That was a weird situation. Like I said, that was Buck's run, I thought. So we was in California at the Kodiak Theater for the BET Awards rehearsal. It was the day before the awards. Excuse me. And I had been performing, doing shows with Buck, doing our record. So 50 was comfortable with that, I guess, because while we were I was sitting in the crowd with Mike Lighty and them and Shy Money and them while they were rehearsing. And when Buck came out to do his part in rehearsal, 50 all of a sudden just said, cut the music off. And he was like, where's Tay at? So here we go again. He's calling my name out the blue. I've never been on TV. That's the first thing. So I'm wondering why he's even calling my name. You know, Buck rap for you, not me. So I wasn't ready for TV. I would say that. He could have told me a couple of days in the head. But he decided at that moment it would look better for me to perform with Buck at the awards. So he cut the music off and said, where Tay at? Shy Money said, 50 calling you. I get up out of the seat to go up on stage. It's empty because it's the day before, but I was still nervous because I knew these seats would be filled up tomorrow, you know, and I had never been in that type of situation. So I was kind of nervous a little bit. And when I got up on stage, 50 was like, okay, this is what I want you to do. When I'm gonna come out with Buck, we're gonna run the hook. When the hook comes off, starts going off, I'm gonna walk off stage, tell you come on when I come off. That way, when the verse start, you'll be rapping with Buck. It's that simple. Well, I told him, okay, I got it. But I'm still nervous, really, because I've never been on TV. So I go around the curtain, they run it, they do the part, they waiting on me to come out. I never come out because I was nervous. So I'm peeking around the curtain, right? And I'm looking at the whole theater like, this motherfucker gonna have so many people in here tomorrow. Like, what if I trip over my shoestring? You feel what I'm saying? I ain't been on TV. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm thinking of these things when I should be focused on coming out here to do what he just said. And a lot of times you don't get a second chance with 50. So when they was playing the part and it was time for me to come out, I never came out. And 50 was like, man, cut the music off. He like, Tay. So I look around the curtain like, what's up? He like, what you doing? Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. So I had my Lokes on, you know, and I came out and I did it, okay? Well, I did it. I felt a little good about it. So when they cut the music off, I started to go back to the same spot. So 50 turns around to Banks and them and say, okay, now this is what we're going to do. Banks, I want you to whoop, whoop. So I'm like, wait a minute. I just rehearsed one time. What is this dude doing? So I walk up to 50. You know, he got his back to me, so I tap him on his shoulder, you know. And he look up like, what's up, Tay? I'm like, what you doing? He like, what you doing? I'm like, we gonna do it again, right? He like, nah, you good. So he turned around and start talking to Banks again. So I say, nah, I don't know who this nigga think I am, bro. I need to do it one more time. for real. So I tap him again. So when he turned around this time, he like, Tay. I'm like, I at least need to do. He said, listen, you got it, Tay. And that was it. He gave me one time to rehearse. The next day, he stripped Who Kid down in the dressing room, give Tay your watch, give Tay your bracelets, give him that necklace you got on. So when you see the BET Awards, I have the G-Unit spin on, and I got the cross, and I got my wrist well. And so, 50 seen what it needed to be. And I went out there and I did my thing for Cashville. Me and Buck.
Man, that's what's up, man. Okay, did you ever meet Eminem or Dr. Dre?
That's weird that you said that. If you look at the what tour was it? It was the Anger Management tour. Yeah, I met him, but not for a long time. And through passing. Because, M was like the president. It's hard to be around him, It had to be the initial rappers, like the crew. We would see him. He showed love and everything, but he was very discreet, They kept him put up. Uncle Dre, yeah, I met him. They was working on Buck's album, and he did that. It was Buck's second album, and the Buck the World, and he got a record on there with a girl singing or something. They was recording that record, and being me, I was at the studio, and I started roaming around the studio, saw all kind of doors, and I ended up busting in the session where Dre and Buck was recording. And when I walked in, it was Dre right there on the board, and I was like, oh shit, my bad. I had to close the door back, But he was like, you good? But I was like, nah, I ain't good. Y'all go in. That was the wrong door.
Okay, and now you're back in with G-Unit, 50 Cent, and everybody. Are you moving different? Are you taking what 50 says serious?
Oh yeah, I definitely started taking it serious then. And that's when 50 sat me down, and he sat me and Buck down and told Buck that he was gonna sign me to G-Unit South, and give me the same advance that he gave them, and we were gonna go from there. Because I never forget, I remember Buck saying that he wanted, he was gonna give me like 30 or 40,000 to borrow, because he gonna want to borrow it back when I get my signing bonus or whatever. And it really never got to that, because that's when Buck and 50 kind of fell out. So it kind of delayed a lot of stuff that was organized.
Messed everything up. Okay. Was there any times where it was like there was a lot of dudes there, and it was kind of rough for you guys to get out of there?
Yeah, definitely was. One time, shout out to Jacksonville, Florida, Jacktown. We had a situation there. I think they was talking shit while we was doing the show, and when we got off stage, one of the guys had tried to inch up on Buck, I guess. And our security guard knocked him out. And he knocked him out in stride on the way out of the club, going to the van. And it's like the whole club just turned on us. He must have been famous in that city, because when the security guard knocked him out, it was a lot of niggas started going crazy. Now they started throwing shit. So we kind of had to run up out the club to get to the van. We were strapped or whatever, but we couldn't use our weapons, and weapons were being used against us. And when we finally got in the van, we did hear shots leaving that club. Yeah, we had to get out of there. We was definitely outnumbered. Yeah.
Who all was there?
This was Buck's show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was his show where he was out on his own, on his grind. So it was more really all of the Cashville crew.
Did you ever run into Ja Rule or Murder Inc. during those times?
No, not when I was around. We never ran into him, because I'm sure it would have been a problem. I'm really sure about that. The Fat Joe situation at the time at the awards in Miami. Spider Loc was with us at the time. That was actually Spider, Tick, my brother who passed. It was all of us that cleared the stands to meet Joe off stage when he had said that we was there with the police and some stuff. So, well, we actually had a lot of Zopound family with us. Shout out to the Zoes in Miami, man. Our Zoe family. Uncle Happy, red eyes. Yeah.
Well, at some point, you and Buck kind of start to have a falling out. You know, he stops bringing you around as much.
Yeah, that was something that still to this day I didn't understand and don't understand. Shout out to DJ Drama. It actually started happening after the mixtape DJ Drama had. I had a record on there, and I guess DJ Drama liked it, my flow, my style. So when it came on, he was like, "Let's go, DJ." You know, and I did go crazy on there or whatever. That was one of the hottest, the Gangsta Grill mixtapes at that time. I was shit up. And after that, Buck, you know, he pulled me back from the music. He never put me on nothing and put it back out or nothing, you know. So even on the tour, we would clash, you know. Like one time he had just got that chain where it had all their faces on there or whatever. And he was letting me wear it at the time. And he thought that because he let people wear stuff or whatever, he could say certain things to people. And he did say certain things to people, but he just couldn't do that with me. And at this particular time, I threw the chain all the way down the goddamn tour bus. Like, man, fuck you and this chain. You feel what I'm saying? And it had them diamonds in that motherfucker. He was pissed about that. I think a couple of diamonds fell out of that motherfucker. But I was already fed up with certain slick things that he was doing at the time anyway. And that was pretty much like the last time that he had me out there.
Oh, okay. And what was your thoughts when him and 50 fell out?
Well, the first time that they initially fell out, I don't think 50 know this or nobody knows it. I was really the only one that Buck would talk to about things. I didn't agree with it. We were on the bus. He was pushing the new album, Buck the World. And 50 wasn't promoting it like he promoted Straight Outta Cashville. And Buck got frustrated about that. And at the time, his numbers were looking good at that time. And he was like, "Yo, tell you, man, 50. And I was like, "What?" Like, because I don't watch 50 give him a Bentley. You know, that's how he got the Bentley. We was doing a verse for an album. They was doing a mixtape, and he walked up to Buck and whispered in his ear, "If you kill this verse, I'll get you a Bentley." Buck like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" So Buck killed a verse. We get off the plane. It's a blue Bentley at home. I've been with Buck where we've been to car lots. He'll just want a truck like the Escalade. He already got the 6'4". He already been buying cars, but he just wanted this Escalade. And he didn't have the money. Some kind of way the money wasn't right, so he called 50 initially. And 50 said, "You really don't need it, Buck, but if you want it, I'll get it." I just used to see him even on the tour, we had our own tour bus. Banks and Yayo had to share a bus. That's why Spider was always on our bus, because the other buses were full. You feel anyway. And he vibed with the South crew anyway. Shout out to Spider Low. Yeah, he kind of pacified Buck a lot to me. You know, I think he gave Buck more than he gave the artists. You know, because it was like 30 of them on one bus. You know, one or two buses is 40 of them. On our bus, it's like 10 of us. You know what I'm saying? 12. So, yeah. He kind of looked out for us.
So he was mad that 50 wasn't helping him with his second project?
Yeah, he got in his feelings about the promotion that 50 was doing. He felt like 50 should be promoting his album more, you know, and he also was feeling like he didn't need him at the time because, you know, it was a young Buck thing in the world at that time.
Yeah, Young Buck, he was killing it at the time, that's for sure.
No, he definitely got the juice with the rapper. That was the first time they fell out.
I remember 50 saying in an interview before about Young Buck's spending habits. Like they were pretty crazy. I'm taking it from what it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely that. There was definitely times we would go to the mall and put everything up on the table to get paid for, and the card wouldn't work. There was no more money on the card, you know. And Buck would have to call the accountant and say what's going on, you know. And they was like, 50's like, Buck, you're spending money, bro. You're just spending. So I think they was initially trying to help him, you know, by not giving him all of it. You know, I think like when he would call, when he have a problem with the card, they would put some more money on there. You know, I think they seen that he couldn't financially handle, you know, his money. And I think they was helping him, really. Because I don't know how he was getting that money put on the cards when he didn't have it.
Yeah, damn. Okay. And did you ever talk to Young Buck about like, yo, man, like, I know you're doing your thing, but shit, man, we should chill out a little bit?
That's where the fights came in. You know, one time we were having an argument, I'll never forget, and me and Buck got to wrestling about it. And this new security guard, he was a big guy, and all he knows he was supposed to protect Buck, you know. So, but everybody already knows Tay's up. Don't, you know, they know I'm up. Buck know that. So, but we cool though. So a lot of times when we get into it, even with 50's crew, they would let me and him hash it out, however we did it, you know. This particular security guard, me and Buck ended up wrestling. I kind of started getting the best of him. I was on top of him, you know, and the security guard grabbed me by my neck and chicken winged me. He had me jacked up chicken winged, okay? Now I'm really like, Buck, I'm finna kill this nigga. This nigga, and I can't breathe or nothing, Pone. You feel me? He choking me out now. We all on the same tour bus, headed to the next city. So as he's choking me out, Buck is like, nah, let him go. Let him go. What you doing? What you doing? So when he let me go, I ain't even looking at Buck no more. I'm just looking at the security guard like, how am I finna stab this nigga? Because I'm finna get him. I'm going to get him tonight. He got to go to sleep. So as I'm looking at the nigga, Buck is going off on the security guard while I'm looking at him because I can't even say nothing at the time. Still trying to catch my breath for one. But I'm trying to see, this is a big nigga right here. How am I got to get my lick back though. So Buck is telling him, look, whenever me and Tay get into it, that's me and his problem. Don't put your hands on Tay like that, bro. That you wrong for that. So he like, all right, I apologize. Well, I'm like, nigga, you. You know, because you done already choked me out. You feel what I'm saying? So now we got the crew on the bus. They joking. Damn, Tay, you did almost fall out, though. You feel what I'm saying? You was asleep for a minute. So it's fucking with me, like, and I'm just watching this big nigga. Now he over there eating his food. He thinks shit cool. So they go to sleep. Everybody go to sleep, right? He falls asleep sitting up, right? When he woke up, I was standing over top of him and I had a knife. And I told him, if you ever put your hands on me again, my nigga, I'll kill you. Now, when he woke up and seen that, he was like, I was like, yeah, homie, don't, because he choked me out. And he was like, bro, I apologize about that. Like, bro, that was up. Man, bro, that's my brother, bro. Don't put your hands on me like that, homie. So he apologized or whatever, but I damn sure was, yeah, he would have had to kill me. You know what I mean? But he had to know that. Yeah.
Damn. So you and Buck kind of had this like brotherly rivalry type of relationship, it seemed like.
From day one.
Okay, well, Young Buck and 50 Cent fall out and they're no longer working together. What is that like for you guys? Is that the time when do you kind of split away at the same time, or you still around for all that?
Yeah, actually I was running with 50 at the time. I flew to New York by myself, popped up at the G-Unit office, and explained to Fifth, you know, that I didn't have nothing to do with what was going on. And even Fifth didn't know why Buck would never have me with him. And, you know, he told me, I used to ask Buck, where you at, you know? And people in the crew would say, like, he would fly the other guys out from Nashville, like other artists that he had started bringing around and signing or bringing around from Nashville. He would fly them artists out and leave me. So when they get there and they having a ball, I call, like, where y'all at? They like, we in New York. I'm like, what? They ain't even tell me. So they would say, 50 looking for you. He asked about you. Where Tay at? You know? And the more he asked about me, the more Buck left me, you know? I guess he didn't want me getting close with Fifth. I don't know what it was about that. But yeah, like back to what you were saying, when they fell out, I had flew to New York, and when I walked in the office, they were beefing so hard at the time that even the office was looking at me like, what you doing here? You feel what I'm saying? Because they just know that I'm Buck's boy. You feel what I'm saying? So they like, what's going on? But they let me on. When they told Fifth it was me, he said, let him in. When I came in, he was working on that video where his face was burning off. I forgot which video that was. But he was editing it. And he said, what's up, Tay? And I just came in and told him what was real, you know? And he was like, I kind of figured that, you know? He said, but hey, don't worry about that. Come on, you ride with me tonight. So we ended up going to Atlantic City. I think it was his birthday. We ended up going to Atlantic City. He had a long talk with me. He told me to ride with him. And we had a long talk, one-on-one. And ever since then, he's been more like a big brother to me. Even with this G-Unit South situation, it's not an artist situation. It's more like a alley-oop that he gave me. You know, he gave me a fishing pole to fish with, you know, the G-Unit South thing. So whatever you pull from it is what you build, you know. We all know that 50 cuts everything off if he don't agree with something. He finds a way to shut it down, you know. But he gave me the green light, and I got it to this day.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Okay. So at one point, Young Buck and 50 linked back up. They worked things out.
Yeah, well, by the time he did that, me and 50 had already established a relationship personally to where I could just pull up when I want to, you know. And I think Buck got to thinking to himself, this wasn't a good look for me to do this. So he started coming around to his senses. You know, the money started going down. He left the machine. You know, 50 was the machine. You know, he put the extras on your push. So Buck started realizing that. And he didn't have nowhere else to come but back, because come to find out he was still under contract, you know. So when he came back this second time, now me and Buck still cool at the time. When he came back the second time, we was in the studio, and I'll never forget this. He had been back over there for a couple months or whatever. And I just remember Buck coming back one time from New York. This is after he done f***ed up, and he finally went out there to hang with Fifth. When he got back to Nashville, he picked me up and we was riding, and he said, man, I don't know what's up with dude, man. And I was like, who? And he was like, 50. I was like, what'd he do? He like, I don't know, man. That nigga he just be staring at me. You feel what I'm saying? And I was like, what you mean staring at you? He was like, I had to look back to see if he looking at somebody else or something, but the nigga was staring at me. And I'm thinking to myself, he probably hadn't been able to see you while you've been doing it, talking that bullshit. And now he finally got you in front of him. He probably wanted to fuck you up, Buck. You know what I'm saying? But he was just looking like, look at this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Back or whatnot. And he probably just pushed the shit away. But he probably still had something on his mind, you know, because Buck had said a lot of things about the man. You know what I'm saying? And then you come back around him. So when he came back around, I'm sure Fifth was still in his certain little ways about the shit. He had to feel Buck back out too. Well, I think Fifth wasn't moving fast enough again for Buck, because I came to the studio one day and Buck was like, look at this shit, Tay. And I'm like, what? He showed me the phone and it's 50's page, and 50's promoting Uncle Murder, you know? And he was doing a lot of promotion on it, you know, supporting Uncle Murder. And Buck was like, what is he doing? He ain't even pushing me, Tay. He pushing this guy right here. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Man, I ain't, man, that. I ain't even, and that's, from what I remember, that was when I heard Buck say that again, okay? And then after that, it got ugly. Buck started saying G on some more other shit, you know. But that was what it was. I know I remember him showing me that Uncle Murder post about 50 posting, starting to promote Uncle Murder as an artist. Yeah. Wow,
So
Buck was back over there.
they fall out again, and you and 50 still got this relationship.
Right.
So you're still working.
Yeah. I'm actually still going out, messing with Fifth, doing shows. You know, like I said, when I show up, I'm a day oneer. I've been there since day one. So the whole crew knows Tay. You know what I mean? I go eat up all the food in the dressing room. Whatever he got in there, I'm eating it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the bro. It's the big bro. And Buck didn't like that. But you know, 50 had sat Buck down and told him to push me. That's why he was letting me do shows with Buck, to get the world familiar with me. He said, just like I had my Get Rich or Die Trying run, I could have only promoted me, but I promoted G-Unit on my Get Rich or Die Trying run. So on your Straight Outta Cashville run, you need to be promoting D-Tay for G-Unit South. So his records will sell, you know, just as well, because they seeing him and singing his songs, but Buck didn't want that. He wanted to hog the shine. I think that's how I feel. You know, the city too.
Now, at one point, Young Buck does a big fax interview.
Yeah.
And he says some things about you that you didn't like.
Well, like I said, I don't even think he knows why he don't like me, or he didn't like me. You know, because even the girl on the Big Facts podcast, she said, didn't you have an album with D-Tay, or don't you mess with D-Tay? He said, no, I don't with D-Tay. I don't with D-Tay. And then the guy said, why? What D-Tay do? He was like, I just don't with D-Tay. And I was like, oh, okay. So you didn't even have an explanation for not with me, okay? So that made me feel a certain way. So I was like, and then I look up on YouTube a couple of weeks later, and he's on live, and he, at the time, Cook Up Boss is clowning him about some things with the situation with the transgender or whatever. I never really got into all of that, you know, but at the time, Cook Up is clowning him a lot, and he gets on this live, and he says my name, but saying when I see Tay, we gotta blase blah. So I'm thinking, yo, this guy's gotta be tripping. But he got all these yes men around, so they hyping him up. And Cook Up is clowning him at the time. And when he brings up Cook Up name, he don't stay on that. It's like he just said something quick and then he jumps back on me. So I'm like, you know what? I don't do the Instagram thing. So I'm gonna pull up on him. I'm gonna catch him out. And that's what happened.
So can you kind of explain what happens in the video?
In the video, it was actually the second encounter that night. The first encounter came because Kid was coming to the city to do a show, and Kid was probably not thinking me and Buck was into it that serious, which we hadn't been with each other for about 2 years at the time, a year or two. And Kid came to the city. He reached out to me. I was gonna pull up on Kid and with him while he was in my city. Well, I didn't know that Kid had called Buck too. And I had pulled up on DeMumrian Street, which is downtown Nashville, at this lounge, and I was meeting Kid. I thought I was. And when I pulled up, I didn't really try to see who was with Kid. I just thought it was probably his crew. So I went on and parked the car. And when I got out of the car, I was already crossing the street. And by the time I looked up and realized, this nigga got David with him. So that was my exact words as I'm coming across the street. Like, oh, nigga, you got David with you. He like, Kiki like, what's up, Tay? But by that time, Buck's like, nah, nigga, Buck. And I said, nah, nigga, David, nigga. And he like, so he didn't like me calling him David. So I told him, nah, nigga, David. So he like, what's up then, Tay? I said, well, what's up then? So I jumped off of the sidewalk. He was still standing up on the sidewalk with Kiki and them beside him. And they had a couple more guys with him. And Buck had another one of his artists with him or whatever. And he said, what's up? And I said, what's up? Let's get it. So I jump out in the street and we getting ready to square up, you know, to go and get it in. And one of the guys he had with him was like, what's up? Let's get it, Buck. So when I heard him say that, I took my knife out of my front pocket and put it in my back pocket. Okay, real quick. And I put it in my pocket where I could grab it and use it immediately when I needed to. Well, I did it so fast, the guy didn't know exactly what I put in my pocket. So he started going out wide while me and Buck arguing, trying to see what I put in my back pocket. But he couldn't see nothing. So by that time, Buck say, man, Tay, you don't want to do nothing. So I'm telling him, nigga, we can do whatever you want to do, nigga, but you need to keep my name out of your mouth. Blase, blah. So now I'm going off. So he act like, man, Tay, you don't want to do nothing, but he grabbing his hip like he got a pistol, right? It's like he finna pull a pistol or something. So that's what pissed me off, because I didn't have mine, and I was outnumbered. So I said, what, you gonna shoot me or something, nigga? You gonna shoot me or something? He like, man, Tay, you ain't trying to do nothing. So I'm going off on him. So the owner of the lounge comes out, and she says, D-Tay, you gotta leave. We finna call the police. So I'm like, you finna call the police on me? This nigga, you don't see all these niggas? She's like, yeah, but you gotta leave, though. You just gotta leave, D-Tay. So I leave, and I'm still thinking to myself, did this nigga just try to act like he finna pull a gun on me? So they were supposed to be going to the club after that. So I beat them to the club. And, you know, called my nephew and them. They pulled up. Now I'm ready. Okay, so I end up walking. They had pulled up. I seen them pull in, you know. They pulled up. Buck parked his motorcycle. He got his music playing. They all in a good little mood. They, you know, having a good time. I ruined the party. You know, I walked straight up on them, you know, on them. Now, they knew this is the second time Tay coming. We just seen him 30 minutes ago. This time, I'm more aggressive. And now, I'm like you now, homie. You know what I'm saying? What's happening now? You know what I'm saying? But I don't need no niggas with me. I get down by myself. So that footage that you seen was me telling him, keep my name out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just like I saved your life, you know, I'm honoring now, and I don't with you. So I'm coming to tell you this, because next time I come, you're not going to see me. You're just going to have to deal with me. And there hasn't been any more disrespect since.
Have you seen him since that day?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen him twice. I bumped into him at the club, and I hadn't seen him since then. And I was by myself again. But, you know, everybody in the city already know. Like, even the situation when I got shot, the robber had shot me and robbed me, him and his brother. I knew his brother, and he brought the other guy, and the other guys who shot me. And I caught him in the club, and you know, I like to get down with that knife. You feel what I'm saying? So I handle my business in the club or whatever, you know, and we got a mutual respect from that. After that, so the city already knows that I get down, whether it's hands on or with the gun. You know what I'm saying? So I've never needed a crew, you know, to get down. But yeah, I just had to pull up on Buck and let him know that we not the same, bro. So, and I know you know. Buck, the world probably thought Buck was like this real tough guy. You know what I'm saying? And like even the situation with Buck's Bentley getting took that night at the club, that was my cousin that took the Bentley. You know, he had got to fighting with a guy, and my cousin was with that guy, and they took Buck's Bentley and his chain and everything that night. But me and Buck wasn't with each other too. But so my cousin
Wait,
did that on account of me.
What happened now with the Bentley and his chain and everything?
Oh, it was a situation in Nashville where Buck had gotten into a fight with a guy that he owed some money from what I was hearing. And since he owed him money, they got to fighting and then they took his Bentley. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He's had a couple of situations in the city that I probably wouldn't, there would have had to be some pressure after it if it was me, you know, that he kind of didn't follow up on. So people just kept trying him. But not saying it like he's, you know, no, or whatever. I just felt like you should match certain energy with a certain energy.
Did they keep the Bentley? Like, how do you just take someone's car? Like,
Oh yeah, they left him at the club that night. Yeah, they took the Bentley and took it to the projects, actually. He had to come, you know, there was he had to negotiate with a couple people that knew, a couple people. My brother Tick, the one that passed, he negotiated it to where he could get his Bentley back. They was finna burn it up.
Damn. How much, do you know how much he owed him?
I don't know, but for them to take his Bentley, he must have was in the hole a little bit. Yeah. Shout out to O and Lil Tony, man, my cousin. Yeah.
So you ran into him a couple times. You know, do you think you guys will ever, you know, link back up or, you know what I'm saying, you know, work together again?
No, because we both grown now. It had to be about a bag, because I really feel like he already owes me, you know. But I got my own situation going. I got my own grind going. I'm doing a lot better without him. And then God got me. You know, I had to give some structure going with my life. I had to find myself, get a job, pour a little concrete, you know, get my forklift license, get some trades and some skills going besides rap. Because a lot of rappers think that because you're a rapper that you're going to be a millionaire and you're going to have houses and have a hot record that's bigger than everybody's record. That's not true. It's not true. And the moment you get in a deal, you're already in debt. So the independent way is, you know, you can move at your speed. And I just been independently grinding. Now 50 gives me the green light to where I can do whatever I want to do with pushing my line.
Yeah, for sure. Man, crazy, man. You got a crazy story.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to Uncle Ice Cube too, man. My West Coast family. I know you out there on that West Coast, Capone. Yeah, shout out to Uncle Ice Cube and E-40, man. Yeah, Uncle Fat Rat and Chris. Yeah, a lot of Cali love, man, you know?
Okay, you had mentioned Ice Cube. So being from way out south, how do you end up linking up with Ice Cube?
Well, I got California family. Shout out to Uncle Fat Rat, Uncle Cali Chris, and Big Cubone. Big Cubone is actually Snoop's chef. I end up coming out there with my Uncle Fat Rat, and we end up going to a show. Uncle Fat Rat is cool with all of them. E-40, Ice Cube, and he took me to the show, and I got to chop it up with Uncle Ice Cube, man. Shout out to Uncle Ice.
And I seen you linked up with E-40 and Snoop also?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we put it in the airways fair, Uncle E. That's what we say, you know. Yeah, I got to chop it up with Uncle E-40. He told me, keep going, man. Keep going. Uncle Fo like to drop that knowledge on you. You know what I'm saying? And Snoop, that's the uncle too. I mean, of course, Snoop been around us for a while. He was on the anger management tour with us. The Titans player, Lindell White. Shout out to Lindell, man. Uncle Snoop used to hang out with Lindell at Lindell's house before the games in Nashville a lot. So I got a lot of history with Uncle Snoop through Lindell as well as with 50.
I seen that you've been around Juvenile a lot recently.
Oh, the big bro Juvie. Yeah. That's a big bro, man. I got a lot of love for Juvenile. We got the same history as me and 50. I've been knowing these guys for 20 years. 18, almost 20 years. So Juvie's never changed on me. Since we linked back up, he's like a brother. I go help him with the shows. I support him. You know, he lets me come rock out, you know. I don't come and do the show and sit in the back and watch him perform. He lets me come out and do whatever I want to do while he's performing, you know, just supporting my brother, man. Shout out to my brother Juvenile, too.
That's what's up. Do you guys have anything you're working on or anything coming up?
We're going to put something together, definitely. Definitely going to be putting something together with Juvenile. Shout out to Juvie, little flip. Future, I'm really ready to run into my brother Future. There was a situation with Future and Buck that brought me a little closer to Future, was because of my brother Rocco, one of my other brothers, Rocco. Shout out to Rocco, man. Me and Rocco were rocking at the time, and I was pretty much doing what Juvie lets me do with him, as far as pulling up when he performed, rocking out with Rocco. And he was coming to do a song with me in Nashville. And me and Buck wasn't seeing eye to eye at the time. I was actually rapping with another independent label, Felonious Records. And we happened to have the same booking at the same studio. And Rocco was coming in the studio to come upstairs to me, and Buck was leaving out. And they bumped into each other, and Buck asked him would he come and do a record with him. Rocco's not knowing that me and Buck don't with each other like that. So he calls me, tells me he's downstairs in Buck's session. So I'm like, what the is going on? So I get down there, and you know, everybody's like, what up, Tay? Woo woo. So they got a beat playing, and Rocco and Buck are writing to the beat. And Rocco asked, am I gonna write to the beat? You know, because he thought me and Buck still same page. So I told him yeah, just to play it off, knowing I wasn't gonna write to it. And they started writing their verses or whatever, and I was just glancing around the room. Excuse me. And I see this guy with dreads in the doorway. And he got his phone, and he's just like this on the phone. And at the time, I was only used to writing on a pad. He was writing in his phone. I didn't know who he was. So I had walked up, and I said, what's up, homie? I'm D-Tay. Who are you? You know? And at the time, it was, I forgot his name, the Wiz, something kid that he was calling himself Future was. And he introduced himself to me, and we shook hands, and I told him, what you doing over here? And he said, I'm writing to the beat. I said, you writing in your phone? And he like, yeah, just typing the words. And he showed me. I was like, oh, that's what's up, bro. I said, what, you want to jump on this song? You know, he was like, you sure you ain't jumping on? I was like, nah, I'm cool, bro. You jump on there. So at the time, Buck is big at the time, and Future wasn't, you know. But he was hot in Atlanta, and that's what we didn't know, me or Buck. So I told him he could, and he said that was love. And he gave me dap, and I ended up going back upstairs. They finished the record. Rocco calls me about a month later. He's going to Memphis to do a show, and he tells me to pull up. So I pull up, we do the show. He brings me out on stage, introduced Memphis to me. And we go to the hotel after that, and we chilling, and he was like, Tay, what's up with dude, man? And I'm like, who? You know, and he's like, Buck. And I'm like, what'd he do? He like, don't you know this nigga sent me the song back and took bruh verse off? And I'm like, he took who verse? He's like, he took Future verse off. I was like, he what? He was like, yeah, man, he should have just told the man he didn't even want him on the song or whatever. He shouldn't have let him rap and then took his verse off. You feel what I'm saying? He said that kind of didn't sit right with bruh, man, because he had a lot of respect for Buck. You know, he was excited to get on the record. You feel what I'm saying? So all I know is a week later, Tony Montana, Future's the biggest rapper in the world. And Buck is looking like, damn. So what come to find out, Buck wasn't comfortable with the auto-tune. Because auto-tune wasn't big then, it was new. So, you know, during the G-Unit era, there was no auto-tune. You feel what I'm saying? So Future had that auto-tune on there or whatever, and I guess Buck didn't like it. and he took him off. And come to find out, Future ended up being the biggest rapper in the city. And that first mixtape, True Story, that came out. Actually, if you Google it, the song "Feeling I Get" from Future, he shouts me out in there and says, "I fuck with M-Town, Chat-Town, Cashville, D-Tay," you know. So and shout out to my brother Future, man. Gotta see. That was love, though. Rocco had told me, you know, he showed you some love, Tay. But that wasn't cool what dude did.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Well, man, D-Tay, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Hey, Cashville appreciate you, Capone. And I want to give a shout out to Robbie Savage podcast too as well. Definitely Cam Capizzo. Say it.
Takeover Media Company.
And shout out to Takeover Media Company with my girl Candace. If you need your videography done, you better tap in with us, man. Yeah.
That's what it is, man. Till next time.
Yes, sir.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.